In a remote Kenyan village, under the scorching African sun, a little boy walked alone on a dusty road. His feet were bare, his clothes torn, and his stomach ached with hunger. This was Charles Mully, a 6-year-old orphan left to survive on the streets after his parents abandoned him. He knocked on doors, begging for food, but all he received were cold stares and slammed doors. One night, as he curled up on the ground under a tree, his eyes filled with tears, he asked himself, "Why was I born into this suffering?" For 10 long years, Charles struggled to survive. He scavenged for food in garbage bins, worked as a laborer for pennies, and often slept on the streets. But deep inside, he refused to accept that this was his fate. One day, an old woman took pity on him and gave him a single coin. Instead of buying food, he made a bold decision. He would use it to change his life. With that one coin, Charles bought a bus ticket to the city, determined to find work. He went from sweeping floors to washing cars, never complaining, never giving up. His hard work caught the attention of a kind businessman who offered him a job. From that moment, Charles worked tirelessly, learning about business and saving every penny. Years passed, and through sheer determination, he built his own transportation company, then a real estate empire. From a street boy, he became a millionaire. One evening, Charles sat in his luxurious home, looking out at the city lights. He had everything: wealth, power, success. But inside, he felt empty. The next day, as he drove through Nairobi, he saw a group of street children, hungry and desperate, just like he once was. He stopped his car, got out, and asked one of the boys, "Where is your home?" The boy simply replied, "This street is my home." That moment shook Charles to his core. That night, Charles made the most shocking decision of his life. He called his family together and said, "We are selling everything. I am going to help these children." His wife and children were stunned. From living in luxury, they would now dedicate their lives to saving abandoned children. Charles sold his businesses, his cars, his mansion. He bought a vast piece of land and transformed it into a home for orphans. At first, people laughed at him. A millionaire turning into a father of orphans, they mocked. But Charles didn't care. One by one, abandoned children arrived at his doorstep, children who had never known love, who had never slept in a bed, who had never been called by their names. For the first time in their lives, they had a home. As years passed, Charles's orphanage grew. What started as a few children became hundreds, then thousands. He educated them, fed them, clothed them. He didn't just give them shelter, he gave them a future. Some became doctors, others engineers, teachers, and even entrepreneurs. His children became leaders. Today, Charles Mully's orphanage has saved over 12,000 children. Once a boy with no home, he became a father to thousands. When asked why he did it, Charles simply smiled and said, "Because no child should ever feel as alone as I once did." This true and emotional story of Charles Mully carries a powerful message. Success isn't measured by what you earn, but by what you give back.